just one big story, isn't it?
Hi everybody, welcome to the Story Connection. I'm your host, Donna Wilberg. Well, we are back with episode 2 with Jason Kraus, who is the author of Late Bird and also an American with a very powerful message for the American people. Welcome back, Jason Kraus.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, in our last episode, we were talking about the book, the characters in the book, and kind of what your belief system is. So let's just give a little bit of a recap, a little bit of background about yourself, and then we'll launch back into the book.
Okay. Well, again, I was born an American. I've lived a wonderful life, and it is, frankly, although it's in service to the people, in service to the public, it's my time. It's my time. This is where I feel the most driven to give back to America. So, in my case, I am serving or offering to serve the United States of America in any capacity that they deem necessary. And that was the point of the book, to show a better path, a brighter way, and say, look, we can do this. We do not have to settle for what we're calling leadership of people who overtly lie to us. I mean, and these aren't even questions anymore. It doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. Mm-hmm. These things are on video. So when they show up on video, it's pretty easy to say, yeah, okay, that guy's lying, or a female. Anyway, regardless of that, I'm here to show a better way.
Yeah.
That's the purpose. That is the entire intent, to say to the United States that we can do this. We don't have to settle. We don't have to settle. I'm sorry.
We have to stop because the video just went out.
Yeah. We just noticed that.
So we have to back up.
Right.
Okay. So we okay. So let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
And so you've decided that this is your time to serve.
I'm 44 years old. I'm part of the Generation X, or the latchkey generation, depending on people's labels, which I just love. I'm here. It's time. There's no time like the present. Mm-hmm. There's American children suffering. I can't watch this anymore. I've done everything that I know how to do with the skill set that I have. I am not a rich man. I am not a poor man. I have worked hard. More importantly, I have saved my money. Mm-hmm. And I am now willing to spend my dollars in pursuit of giving back to America. America's been so good to me. I mean, the process of living here, just being born here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was lucky to have 2 loving parents, but just being born here, you still have a chance. You have a chance. And so for me to be in the position that I'm in, I looked up 2 years ago and said, no, it's not going to be like this. I'm going to take my shot. I'm going to say, okay, well, let's show a better way. And I mean, if we can't do that, if we can't say, hey, look, if we're going to sit here and say, well, I got a good life, but the next generation will take care of it, mm-hmm. That's not the American way. That's absurd. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. So, as I've told people before, I will not stop. I will continue forward, and it's been a process. But make no mistake, we're coming.
Cool. I love it. Let's talk about ambition versus integrity, because most of the politicians that you meet, and I know that word can be defined as kind of not so nice.
Oh, no.
But a lot of them, there's an ambition there. There's kind of a precursor. I mean, you know, the way they live their lives. They have to be the best at this. They have to be the best at that, and then they throw themselves into politics, and with that comes a lot of power. And we talked about that. And sometimes it's more about the power than it is about the service.
Oh, it is. This specifically the generation that's in power right now, the boomer generation, I call it boomeritis. It's all about power. It's all about ego. It's all about what they can get. I mean, these individuals will not leave. They will not leave the stage. Bill Clinton has been here for half of my life. It's 2 terms, brother. Move on. I mean, move on. Fortunately, we don't hear George Bush speaking too much anymore, but that's a wonderful thing for me, because it felt like nails on a chalkboard every time he spoke. This generation cares about that generation. And they are systemically crushing what is happening. Barack Obama said it, and it was a really interesting statement. I listened to him. It's on video. Anybody can check it out. He said specifically about the debt. He said this a few years ago. He called George Bush unpatriotic for running the debt up because Bush did. And I thought, hey, correct. You're right. It is unpatriotic. You're crushing the next coming generations. And then Barack Obama doubled it. Okay. So it's very difficult for me to look at somebody with any credibility when you're actively attacking somebody, calling them one of the worst things you can, unpatriotic to Americans.
Yeah.
And then you go out and make their behavior look childlike by doubling the debt. We are sitting here with systemic problems that most Americans have simply tuned out of because they feel, it's not that they don't understand, they understand. It's that they feel their voice doesn't matter anymore. The state of California in our last election voted in our historically, I think it was less than 20% showed up to vote. We've turned into apathy. We just look up and go, well, that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, which is the worst of two evils.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Well, guess what? That's not the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm here, we're across America. There are loud voices out there. They've had enough. These are not desperate people. These are people who love America. We're coming with excitement, but make no mistake, we're coming hard. All right, this is not a, well, hey, these are
cleaning
ethical.
house.
Oh yeah, well, it's going to have to be. That's the whole purpose. Lead by example. So when I talk about not taking campaign contributions, I don't have to go to the Supreme Court to ask them whether it's okay. And then we just had this big case. Supreme Court said it was okay. You can get as much money as you can. I don't need 9 people up there to tell me what my ethics are. It's very simple. If you're getting money from somebody else, they own you. They want something. No one's going to give you millions. If I give you $50 walking down the street, I'm probably expecting something back in return. If I give you 50 million, there's definitely, I want something back. And so that's what it has to come to now. And this isn't hard to understand. A 5th grader can understand that if you're taking money for something, something's going to have to be exchanged. Usually we call it capitalism. They've changed it into crony capitalism, but really what we need to call it what it is. It's called corruption.
Right.
It's that simple. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. So we have to lead by example. We know what the right thing to do is.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to show a clip right now that kind of showcases a little bit of your feelings towards the politicians, the political party, and what you stand for. So we'll be back in a second.
When I talk to people, I spend a lot of time listening. When I'm on social media and I write columns or I wrote my book, people will respond and send me long messages saying that they think we're in serious trouble. They're right. Then they say there's really not much we can do about it. They're wrong. We can do something about it. And after what I call the re-election of a nightmare in 2012 presidential election, I sat down and said specifically, what can I do here? Well, how is this going to, I live here. This is my state, this is my town, this is my country. These are my people. What can I do here? How is it that I can actually take my belief system of hard work, saving my money, and then being generous? How can I take that and push that out to make sure that we have more than a small ripple effect, that we drop a boulder in the pond of life and we have waves undulating over each other? That's what we have, American love for each other. And so I sat down and thought about it, and I wrote a book. Many of you have read it. We need many more too. I write columns every single day and a concept of how we're going to change these things. And we're going to change these things specifically on systemics. Okay? We have to change the systems. We have to understand human behavior. We cannot run around anymore listening to people who actively, lied to you. Lie to me once, shame on you. You lie to me twice, I'm an idiot for ever asking you a second question. Once you've lied to me once, you have no credibility. And I don't care what you think. I'm not interested in you anymore. Step aside. If you don't step aside, we'll remove you. You don't get to lie to us. That's not what we do. This is not the American way. But that's what's happening right now in half of the boomer generation. They're called politicians. The things we have to fix systemically are very, very simple. First of all, we have to lead by example. Don't listen to the words people say. Look at what they're doing. I don't need the Supreme Court.
So Jason, you know, one of the things that's always struck me is what kind of person would put themselves in a job like president. I mean, you got to have really thick skin, because whether it's true or not, there's always going to be haters. Oh. And how do you plan to deal with that part of it?
I'm experiencing that now.
Yes.
I had zero voice 2 years ago. Now I have a small voice, and it doesn't really matter. I've got people coming from both sides. It's fascinating to me to listen to people try to defend lies. Mm-hmm. And after a while, you just have to tune it out. I go back to when I was a kid. I knew I always had somebody I could count on. I was looking at him in the mirror every single time. It didn't matter. I would survive. And so when you get to a point where you've survived, now you're looking to thrive. Mm-hmm. And now we're looking to make a difference. So people have asked me that, why do you want to be president? I don't want to be president. If it was a want thing, if it was about desire, I'd have given this up a long time ago. I'm not interested in that. It's about duty. It's about service. It's about belief in the fellow citizens of America. So I don't want to be president. I wish this never had to occur, ever. There's much more enjoyable things than constantly having people rip you apart on the internet and Facebook. But it gets to a point where, okay, what are you willing to do? The World War II generation stormed Normandy Beach. I can handle Facebook. I mean, some of the people, well, you're going to get your life torn apart. Give me a break. American GIs marched from Bataan, the Death March of Bataan. They didn't make it home, some of them. Mm-hmm. We owe it to them to stand up. I'm in an air-conditioned room right now wearing a suit. You have got to be kidding me, America. There are young Americans who did not get off the beach at Normandy. They barely got out of the boat. No. Enough's enough. We can't have it, and we're not having it. I'm not having it, and America's not having it. We've had enough, and we're coming.
So what are some of the things that you feel would make this planet a better place to live on, would make America stronger and thrive?
America has to understand that we have a very unique position in the world. We are it. Everything else evolves around us. Mm-hmm. So if we're doing the right thing, the world will come around. People talk about China. There's almost, I think, 2 billion people in China. China is not going to be a problem for us currently. They're going to have their own problem. Those people want to be free. And eventually those issues are going to come up. We have to lead by example. We are the largest debt-ridden nation. In one generation, we went from the largest creditor nation on the planet, the World War II population, passed down. And in one generation, the boomer generation, we went from the largest creditor nation on the planet to the largest debtor nation on the planet. In one generation. How is that possible? I mean, this is so absurd. And we're not stopping. They're going to raise the debt ceiling here in probably a couple more months. And it would be at the 2025 trillion by the time I get there. But we actually can fix this. We actually can. But we have to lead by example. We cannot have a border wide open where women and children are being sexually, physically, they're being raped. Call it what it is. You hear people all the time talking about slavery. Slavery has happened through the entire process of the human event. Mm-hmm. Right? And in this country, it occurred roughly 2 centuries ago. We're still having it happening right now. They just changed the name of it. We just politically corrected slavery. We're calling it human trafficking now.
Yeah.
Okay? These things can't happen, and they're happening right now. As I snap my fingers, some little girl or some woman was just sold through the border. Just sold through the border. We can control that. That can be closed within a week. We have to fix these things. These things are very easy to fix. Our taxation policy is crushing. It's crushing the American worker. We do a couple of things better than the entire planet, but we really do one thing better. We work hard. We believe in it over here. It is who we are. We don't take vacations. The French take vacations. Right? We work hard. It's a badge of honor. You take a vacation this year? Are you kidding me? I don't take vacations. That's right. We work hard. And yet what are we doing? We're taxing income. We're taxing every single thing known that actually that will push the human animal to a belonging estate. We have to get rid of income tax. This country wasn't even founded on income tax. We didn't put it in, I think, until the early 1900s. It's a horrible system. We need to get off the income tax. They want wages to go up. Okay, fine. Get rid of the payroll tax. Stop talking about the companies have to fix all these things. Government needs to fix these things. Get rid of the oppressive taxation, and companies will take care of everything. If we actually sat and got rid of the corporate tax, corporations right now, we're taxing between 35 to 40%.
Right.
Do you think corporations want to be in China? Do you think they want to be somewhere around the Middle East? Where's the safest place to be? Right here. If we simply got rid of it, if we said zero, they would come roaring back here. The land, we have a large land mass here, but our land would probably quadruple in price just because everybody would want to come. Is that a problem? The countries around the world would have to drop their corporate taxes, which frees the individual human because governments are too big everywhere. And we know this. Why do we know this? Because we keep having war. No human wants to have war. No individual person gets out of bed every day and says, oh, let's see if I can go kill somebody today. It's just not going to work like that.
Yeah.
But here we are with systemic problems. But we can fix them. We actually can. And it won't. I can tell you this much right now. Whether America chooses this or not, it's coming. Because income tax will have to be abolished eventually. Otherwise, the debt, we won't make enough money to pay the debt back, not to mention
Well, they
Social
talk
Security.
about abolishing Social Security?
Well, the word now is means testing.
Okay.
Mitt Romney came out, this is a Republican, talking about means testing, and everybody kind of just blew it over, and I leaned up and said, whoa, wait a sec, what did he just say? Means testing means when we get to a certain aspect, I'm 44, when I finally get to 62, 65, if I have too much money, according to the government, they're just going to keep my Social Security. Oh, there's a great way. That's a nice reward. So people are just going to stop working because they don't want to give up money that they've already made. It's horrible. Republican recently just came out and said the same thing. He's running for president. He's on for means testing. Social Security is underfunded. It's not even there right now. We have, and it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, they don't understand economics. They don't understand human behavior. They think debt. How is it possible that debt is a positive thing? No, everybody understands it isn't. It's one thing if you don't have anything, but if you owe $500, but that's what we have. We have a generation of tune in, turn on, drop out. Sex, drugs, and we like the rock and roll.
Yes, please keep the rock and roll.
Please keep the rock and roll.
But keep it down to a minimum.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's these things, unfortunately, and I hit the boomer generation pretty hard, especially the politicians. Half of the boomer generation are wonderful people. They're wonderful people. They've worked hard, served the country. God bless them. And they come to me every day and say, Jason, you're right, you're right, you're right. But we've replaced that need to belong with drugs. Across America right now, the conversation is taking place. Hey, marijuana's okay. The President of the United States came out and said, marijuana's the same as beer and wine. No, it isn't. It isn't even close. It isn't even close. Beer and wine are made up of predominantly 90, 95, maybe larger. They're made up of water. The one thing that we have to have on it. I wrote about this recently. I said, you go to 30 days to an island, right? And you're going to take as much beer or wine as you want to one island. And on the other island, you take as much marijuana as you want. And I've said it before, well, I'm going to throw in a lighter for you, just so you can have a good time. The person that took the beer and wine to the island after 30 days, I said before, their liver might be messed up, but they're coming home. The marijuana person will be dead in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're not coming back. We have to understand, stop changing the way, there's nothing wrong with my mind. I don't need to, marijuana's a depressant. I don't need to alter my mind. I'm good. America's great. Embrace these things. And let's get to work. People need to get back to work. That's why we need to get rid of these change systems.
Yeah.
We got to get people back to work. And these politicians talk about it like it's a game. Like it's, oh, well, hey, people are suffering. People are suffering. When I remember my father broke his leg. It was a rough go. Yeah. It was a rough go. I talk about it when I went to school. My mom signed us up because we were broke. And she signed me up for the lunch program.
Oh.
And I remember, I never really understood it until all of a sudden I was part of it. But we would sit in a circle, and each time the teacher would call us up, or call people up. Now, I went home for lunch. And if you had a blue ticket, that meant your parents paid for it, I think is what it was. Mm-hmm. If you had a yellow ticket, that means you were on public assistance. You were getting. We were only 6, 7 years old, but we all knew what that meant. And so you would see the kids, okay, Johnny coming up for his blue ticket, passed out the blue tickets first, and everybody's walking up proud. And then when the yellow ticket started, you would watch these kids just slouch all the way to the teacher and slouch back. Well, I'd never been a part of that group.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm listening, and she's alphabetically coming down. She's coming to the K, and I'm in my head, don't call my name, don't call my name, don't call my name. She called my name.
Yeah.
And I slouched up there and didn't not want that ticket. I'm a rule follower, so I took the ticket, went and sat back down, and we lined up to go to the cafeteria. I got back out of line, walked back into the teacher, and handed her the ticket back. And I said, don't call my name ever again. I'll be going home for lunch. And she said, does your mom know about this? No, she didn't. It didn't matter. I wasn't a kid that lied, but I lied then. I wasn't going through that again. So I told her, oh yeah, she knows all about it.
You know what though? That is a very good example of how we put people in boxes, you know, and I think some of that has to change.
Oh, it must.
Must. I can't believe we've got 5 minutes left. You know, I want people to go to your website.
We should make it a weekly thing.
We should, yes. Because you have such wonderful information on your website, and you address a lot of articles that people can, you know, kind of peruse and at their own leisure and get an idea of what kind of a person you are and what kind of leader you be. So why don't you give that information right now?
I do. I write articles. I was writing them almost every day. Now I'm writing once or twice a week. Videos as well. The website is called aleadernotapolitician.com. Again, aleadernotapolitician.com. I saw that commercial one time. They said say things 3 times. So aleadernotapolitician.com. And it felt like Bill Clinton right there all of a sudden. Oh, we have to erase that. Anyway, that's where we're coming together at aleadernotapolitician.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Jason Kraus, Kraus. There's thousands of people there. Come on in. Everybody's welcome. That's the whole point. We have to have something to gather around. That's why I'm here. We have to have a meeting point. America is alive and well, and she's ready to roar.
Good. Well, let's give some information about the Story Connection, shall we?
The Story Connection airs the second and fourth Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our companion show, Paranormal Connection, airs the first and third Thursdays of each month. Each episode repeats the following Friday at 1:30 p.m. and Saturday at 5:30 a.m. You can watch these programs online at the same air times by going to accesssacramento.org and clicking Watch 17, or you can watch us on Comcast Channel 17 in the Sacramento region and on AT&T Channel 99. For information on upcoming shows and previous Story Connection guests, go to storyconnectiontv.blogspot.com. You can contact us at storyconnectiontv@gmail.com, and don't forget, join us on Facebook, become a friend, and become a fan.
We're going to close out the show. I really want people to look at this book, and it's a big, thick book.
It was thicker.
I can imagine. Not only is this little kid just absolutely adorable on the cover, this is full of hopes and dreams. It's full of intention. It's full of a life that we all could have if we stand up.
Amen.
It's fabulous. Plus, it's a great entertaining read too. You know, you're going to say, "Oh my God, did that really happen?"
It did.
Because some of the stuff is just it's crazy, you know. But
I thought so too.
yes, but it's understandable. A lot of us have gone through, you know, things similar or whatever. But Jason, I am wishing you the best on your journey into this this place of serving the American people. I think it's wonderful. You're to be commended.
Thank you.
And
thank you for having me.
So
it's been a wonderful experience.
You're welcome. But you still have time to talk to the people out there and say what you want to say. We still have a couple of minutes left.
A couple of minutes, okay.
So,
America, this is really up to you. We say constantly that, oh, it's not going to happen, we can't do it. If somebody finally shows up that says the things we want to hear, that they won't do it, that they'll ruin this person's life. Have at it. Let's go. We'll take that shot. I can guarantee you they're not going to ruin my life. It just will not happen. But I've heard it from America, across America. People have said, Jason, we've got your back. some of the terminology is got your 6. Absolutely. Right now, I'm calling for is 3% of you, almost 10 million voices, to join me right now. And we'll take back this country, one voice at a time. A leader, not a politician. This is your country. This is my country. It's up to you.
Beautifully stated. I'm excited. You
Yes.
know, I really am. I think it's about time. And we've all said it to ourselves. We've all said it to friends and relatives and whatnot, you know, but we've all felt helpless. And I think having someone in a leader role will give people hope again and
Thank you.
and direction.
Ferocious humility.
Yeah.
That's it. But ferocious. We have to do what we have to do. This is about our generation. This is about the next. It's even about the boomer generation. Things are rough. It's time. It's time, and we can do this. This is America.
Yes, we've done a lot of amazing things. So, again, Late Bird by Jason Kraus. Fabulous read. Fabulous. And the person that's behind the book and standing in front of us saying he's willing to go the distance. You know, I hope everybody goes to your website, reads your book, and gives you a chance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
I think I'm going to take you with me. Washington, D.C. needs a lot more people like you.
is that right? But I write thrillers and
Oh, that'd be
romantic
perfect for
suspense.
you.
There you go. a lot of fodder there.
No, you have good energy, and we're
thank you.
going to take that with us.
Thank you. Well, I'm wishing you the best, and again, thank you for coming on the show and sharing your beautiful aura and your wonderful
Wow,
words.
I'm going to stick around. This is great. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, good. And I really have to thank my volunteer crew because they are the best ever. Without them, we could not do the show. And that's Laura Chick and Tendora and Lorene Fallahay. And there's somebody else in there that I didn't get a chance to get his name. But without these people, we wouldn't have the show. And so I'm eternally grateful to them as well. So with that, we're going to say goodnight.